Hey everybody, this is Mad Matt Carter. Thank you so much for watching the AIWF Network YouTube channel as well as the AIWF Ringside Wrestling channel. If you like what you see, please do us a big favor. Hit that like button, hit subscribe, and ring that bell to get notifications every time we post new videos on both our channels. It means a lot to us, and thanks a lot for watching once again.
Wrestling fans, promoters, wrestlers, and anyone who enjoys pro wrestling now have something new to be excited about. The Wrestling Fans International Association, the WFIA, is back. WFIA is an association that exists to promote, grow, and support professional wrestling throughout the world. Membership is free. Your membership includes a free digital bi-monthly publication of the Wrestling Fan News newsletter, association updates, voting privileges, and much more. Please go to thewfia.org, that's THEWFIA.org, and become a member today. Attention WFIA members, the virtual 2024 WFI convention will be this fall from September 13th through September 15th, 2024. Scheduled to appear are the world's strongest man, Ken Patera, the world's most dangerous announcer, Gary Michael Capetta, Bill Apter, and just recently signed the High Flyers, Jumpin' Jim Brunzell and Greg Gagne, and folks, there's more coming on board. So run, don't walk to your keyboard, get on that computer, check the WFIA.org website and our Facebook page to see when these guys are going to be scheduled and their prices. Folks, if you are not a WFIA member, you will be paying an additional fee. So go to the WFIA.org today and register, become a member, and enjoy the podcast.
What's going on, everybody? This is Pro Wrestling Wire Radio here on ProWrestlingWire.com, WON Sports, and of course now the AIWF Network. This is Rick Del Santo along with Uncle Otis. We have a very special guest, the first female professional wrestler to air or to come on to Pro Wrestling Wire Radio, and Skylar. And welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm doing good. Just everyday life, just doing good. How about you?
I'm awesome. Otis, what's going on?
Not much. Just ready for another awesome interview.
All right. So let's talk a little bit about your wrestling career. You've been around now a few years. I've gotten to see your start, pretty much your debut, I believe, over at Paradise Alley. But how did you get interested in this world of professional wrestling? And as a child, did you watch?
I think probably like every wrestler, you watch it growing up, and then one day you just decide to do it. So it was around in 2020, during COVID times, really nothing to do. So I was Googled pro wrestling school near me, and I found PAPW. Trained by Paul Roma and Mario Mancini. So one day I just went down there and loved it and just started training from then on now.
Who would you say influenced you, before you, as far as growing up, as far as talent? What got you, what wrestlers would you say that influenced you? That were damn, I want to do this. Who were some of your favorites? What's that?
I grew up watching CM Punk. So
okay.
A big influence on me. His mic skills, in ring, all that. I mean, I was in the era of watching Randy Orton. I mean, there was John Cena, Triple H, Shawn Michaels, that whole era in 2008, around that.
Right.
And then up until 2013, I took a break from stop watching it, and then I just started up again, and then that's how I got involved in the training.
Right. What was your initial reaction of meeting Mario and Paul? Did you have any idea on who they were, what they were about, their previous careers?
No idea. I had no idea what I was getting into. Mario is so nice though. Roma, he's strict, but
I
he
know.
is
Yeah.
firm. He's firm. They're both good trainers, and you learn so much from them and their whole background and their careers. I mean, they got stories from like to tell from the '80s. But I had no idea. I didn't watch a lot of like the old school wrestling growing up. Because like I got involved. It was like my brother watched it, so like I just tagged along with that. And then like when he stopped watching it, I still kind of followed it down and there. But like I had no idea who Paul Roma was up until I started training in like 2020.
Yeah, I grew up watching both of these guys, and actually, every time that they would announce Mario being from Milford, Connecticut, as a child, I kind of freaked out because I was, you
Yeah,
know, it was literally about 15 minutes from where I lived in Woodbridge, Connecticut at the time growing up, and I knew the gym that he would train at, which was located in West Haven, and I'd always, as a kid, drove by and saying, like, is Mario in there? But
I thought it was
so
as like a kid, like when you hear like Triple H like they announced from like Greenwich, Connecticut, like that was
yeah.
kind of cool to me too. Like, oh, it's like no one knows Connecticut. It's like not
Yeah.
very like famous, so it's like cool to hear sometimes.
Well, I mean, what does Connecticut have really? Yale, stuff like
Yeah,
UConn, stuff like
Taxes.
that. So, yeah, taxes. Yes, it's yeah. Otis, do you have anything you want to? I got some other questions, but Otis, do you have anything you want to throw in before I move forward with the career here?
No, basically just that, Skylar, you see me popping in on Wednesdays, Mondays, whatever. And I notice that you train very hard every time I'm there, and you're definitely getting better each time I'm in there. Do you find because there's not many women right now at PAPW. Do you
yeah.
find it difficult training with the guys? I mean, I know that the guys that are there are a bunch of nice guys and everything, but do you find it more difficult not having more women there maybe to bond with during training and
I
exchange ideas with?
does have its disadvantage. So like when I started training, I was like the only female in like that like school. There was no other female. So I grew up like not grew up, I wouldn't say. I started training with the boys and the guys. So like they helped a lot. Like you learn to like maybe hit harder, you lay in the work, like you don't like let anything slack in your work. But it does have its disadvantage because when you go out to other promotions and like you see everything else, like it's hard to see like you can't do certain moves with like the women because it's different, like to put it. So like you have to like kind of work around your training, like, oh, so like I could do this maybe with a guy, but like I gotta work around it to try it with a woman, stuff like that. I would say like I still make those connections and bond every time I wrestle like a female on another show. So I still have that going. And now it feels good because now there is getting more women involved at PAPW. So like I love helping like the newer talent coming up. So like it's good now we have like another new female student. So I can't wait to see what she does, and I love working with her in the ring, just to get that bond and that relationship and see what other women could do as well.
Yeah, I could see that when I was there Wednesday, you were working on particular new move, I guess maybe for you to do.
Yeah,
And we won't say who you were practicing with, but you were having just a little concern with the way you were doing this move, and you were
I
concerned that you were going to hurt somebody
yeah
in a place you didn't want to hurt them.
I don't want to like hurt anyone in the ring. So like I always try to like see if they're good or okay, or like if that like is good in the ring. But like it's different with boys because like they're guys. I mean, they could take hits and punches, and like you could lay their punches in, and they don't care. But like females, I just always try to make sure they're good.
Yep. I saw now, if I'm correct, that your debut was when the Battle Academy invaded Paradise Alley. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yes, and you did you did a nut shot to oh God, I have the video. I can't remember who. You did a nut shot to somebody. Was that?
Dustin,
A junk
Yeah,
jammer.
yeah.
that was the
Uh,
whole Academy, just nut shots, everyone.
Well, yeah. I mean, you didn't get a lot of opportunities to wrestle at that time in Paradise Alley because they weren't really necessarily bringing in women, a lot of women at that time. I think I remember you wrestling Karen Bam Bam at one point, and I have that footage. Um, but you were basically like a sidekick at one point, and but I mean, how important was the formation of the Battle Academy? And I think that that was like a very creative time for Paradise Alley Pro Wrestling, and it was just you guys were all on a tear for like a good year, and maybe year and a half before I guess you guys started getting separated.
Yeah, I thought that was really like when we heard the idea, I thought that was great because like you get it was all the rookies in like the class that came up. So like it was a
Right.
good opportunity to put all these rookies together and just have them do shows and perform and what it's like in front of a crowd and you learn from like the best, Chris Battle. So you're under his wing and like all that. I thought that was a great idea when it came to us. I thought like we just do it and then see where it takes us. And I mean, everyone, it was good as a rookie because you don't know your character, you don't know your gimmick. So just being thrown in like a group in a faction, it just helped you grow as a character and it all your work too. And then you travel with all these guys and it's kind of fun.
Yeah. Of course, Lorenzo and Jay are no longer active, but they formed a tag team, the champion. At one point they were Coliseum Pro Wrestling Tag Team Champions. They were the first tag team champions, I believe. And then excuse me, Jesus. At the same time, they held the Paradise Alley Pro Wrestling Tag Team Championships for a brief period as well. Um, it's sad to see those two guys go because I thought that they had a lot of potential, especially Lorenzo. Jake had the gift of gab. He was great on the microphone. And Hunter, I think was, Hunter's Hunter. Great talent.
They all had their great talent. I think they're all great on the mic, in ring. They all have chemistry together as a tag or even like just managing or anyone. So hopefully they come back eventually, maybe after they
Yeah.
take a little break and stuff. And I wish Hunter the best. He posted today he's moving down to Texas permanently, so I hope he still continues to train down there and maybe come visits now and then. But hopefully they still continue with their wrestling work because they're like the best at it.
Yeah. Yeah. So you actually, now you're gonna have to refresh my memory. I know that you ended up becoming the Paradise Alley Pro Wrestling Women's Champion at one point. It was the center ring title. I really want to mention that part, but it was the center ring title, and then became the Paradise Alley Pro Wrestling Women's Championship, which they created their own Women's Championship. So, what was it like? And talk about that match and your opponent.
He had a show at the Cadillac Ranch, and it was like an
Right.
all show, kind of like an all women's battle royal. And I think that like never really happened at PAPW because like you don't see a lot of women at Paradise. Probably maybe now you see a women's match, but you don't see a lot of women, like different varieties. So it was kind of cool to do this battle royal, bring all these women in, and I had the opportunity to win that battle royal and become the Paradise Alley Women's Champion. I wanted to crown a champion at the end of the royal.
Yeah.
We had that belt for time, but we eventually Mario got a nice new PABW women's title, and it looks spot on. It's like a kind of 80s style, so like I loved it. So it was fun for that title run for a little while, and hopefully I get the title back. But it was just a great opportunity, and I think it was a new kind of future for like women's wrestling in PAPW because hopefully that continues to grow like other promotions have it. I know they have like different women's on every show and storylines, so hopefully PAPW becomes that eventually.
Hey, Boogie Woogie, you look like yourself.
It's been a long day, brother.
You want your usual?
Let me have my usual, baby.
There you go.
Thank you, bro.
women's wrestling is becoming immensely popular in the last, like, probably, geez, 10 years maybe. And it's just, a lot of times, like, you'd be back in the day, you'd be lucky if there was even one women's
Yeah.
match on a show. Now there's like two or three, and it's kind of amazing if you think about it. So,
And, like,
what do you think about that evolution?
I think it's great. Like, I see now, like, they have more opportunities with titles. Like, they got the women's tag. I mean, I think I saw a rumor they want to, like, do an IC one and a United States one. So, I mean, all this, like, opportunity, like, all these matches, like, you could put in storylines with all those titles, like, is great. Like, I mean, it's more wrestling today. Like, it's not like you see women's wrestling and it's like, I don't know, in a pool of jello. Like, it's like wrestling and
Right.
take it seriously. And that's what I like, because, like, I grew up in, like, a time where it really wasn't that. So, like, you don't really follow then. So, like, that's not who I was, like, watching back then. Like, I mean, I would watch, like, AJ Lee, but, like, it just wasn't, like, cool. So, like, when you said, oh, I want to be a women's wrestler and I want to go in WWE, they look at you crazy, like, oh, I'm just a tomboy. Like, you don't fit that style. So, like, now if you say that, everyone thinks it's cool because, like, it's different today. Like, you could, like, there's different, like, gimmicks and characters, and it's wrestling and it's style, and they take you more seriously. So hopefully it continues to stay like that.
Right. Otis, you got anything?
Yeah, I was going to say that it's definitely changed a lot. I think that it's well overdue that they, finally got out of having women more as an eye candy thing in the wrestling ring than actually competing. And last night was a good example of that. The ladders match that WWE had for the women was phenomenal. I thought the women, I hurt this morning just from watching them last night tossing each other around, and it's amazing that it's long overdue. They just really should have done this a long time ago, because the women always had the talent. They just weren't given that break.
I think it's always good, like the stipulation matches. Like, now you see the ladder matches and the tables and the last women standing matches. Like, that's cool. Like, because women could do that. They could, like, hang with the men. So, like, I think that's also cool that they give these women, like, opportunities to do all those, like, crazy stuffs and, like, show you,
Absolutely.
like, what's not, like, eye candy in the back.
Yeah. And they think they've totally proven themselves over the past, like Rick said, several, almost decade now, where they've actually given the women a chance to show that they've got every ounce of athleticism that any of the guys do. That, quite frankly, a lot of the women are actually better, I think, at grappling than a lot of the men are. And I personally think, I mean, this is just my opinion, but I think that there should be an intercontinental or, belt for men and for women. I think they do the tag, thank goodness. I just think that every title should be parallel, so that the women have that same opportunity because right now, women's roster in pretty much any league that you're looking at is really growing. And, like you were saying with at PAPW, there are a couple women that are, starting to show, what they've got, and they need that opportunity. And I think that people like you can be a role model for maybe some girl that's just getting out of high school that, really wants to do something like this, but didn't really know how to go about doing it, or thought she wasn't good enough, or didn't think that she had what it took to do that. And then to, like, have you on the show today and be able to talk about how you kind of just, you didn't fall into it. You always kind of liked it, but you weren't really sure because it was always a man's sport. And you finally took that shot, and now, you're flying high. You're doing fantastic, and like I said, you're getting better every day. So this is something that younger women could reflect on.
And, like, every promotion's looking for women, because there's not many in this sport of professional wrestling, usually in the indies. So, like, most women could get opportunities and grow with that. So it's very, like, that's good too, if you're looking for.
correct? I actually had one more thing I wanted to ask her. I first saw you wrestle. I was it was in Bristol, and I think you took on one-on-one against Delmi Exo,
Mm-hmm.
and I was sitting all the way up against the wall in the bleachers. It was at the Boys and Girls Club in Bristol. And I remember that you took her up through the stands to literally were beating the snot out of her in the seat right in front of me. And I had the camera like this, trying to, and I was just wondering, because you two are magic together, and I was wondering, is that feud finished, that story finished, or is there something on the horizon, or it's really not?
I won't spoil anything, but hopefully it's not. Hopefully she comes back down to either if we're in Bristol or anywhere anywhere we are, or if it's Tetsu or PAPW. I hope we step in the ring again, and I hope we could have another banger match because Delmi is fun to work. She's talented. She's traveled everywhere. She's been MLW and probably won so many championships. So I hope she comes back and we could run another storyline. And hopefully she maybe brings her sister too, and maybe we could do a little tag.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize that she had a sister that was involved in wrestling as well. And who would you want to take them on with? Who would you want as your partner? I
mean, there's so many talented women out there. I mean, you got Mimi. Mimi's a good one. Just Mimi. I know when I did youth clinics in New Jersey, I know we kind of did youth clinics, run it back. So maybe if she is in town, it would be cool to run a little tag match with her. I know we only worked against each other, but never tagged.
Last August, I think, I made my debut for Tetsu as a play-by-play announcer. And you took on Clara Carreras. Tell me about that match and how you thought. I thought that was like a really fun match. And tell me about your opinion on that match.
So it was really fun. So she's a little smaller than women. And I'm so tall. So it's fun to work with that and do cool moves, and she does all the lucha style wrestling. So it's cool to learn that from her, take these ideas and lucha and work with that, because not a lot of women does lucha. I never worked anyone with that kind of style. So it's cool to just learn that from her, and she's a good in-ring competitor. I only met her one time, maybe at BST, so it was kind of fun to work her. But yeah, it was different style for me.
Speaking of which, have you ever worked BST before?
One time. It was a outdoor show. It was last the 4th of July kind of show. And Two Roads.
At Two Roads, right? Yep. I was there. That's right. Yeah, I forgot about that. I'm sorry. I was there for that. Yeah, it's a long time ago. I don't have the brain capacity to remember.
It's age, Rick. It's age.
Yeah, yeah. So, you've actually you've had quite the career here so far. It's mostly PAPW that I have on record, but I know you've expanded out there a little bit more as well. But you've also wrestled for Test of Strength, which is another organization that's based out of our area, and I know that you took place in a mixed 6-person tag match as well.
So yeah, that's when we wrestled against Mimi, and I know Travis and
Jarrett Diaz was in the match. Travis Jacobs. I'm trying to think. You teamed with Brad Baylor and Red Sawyer. Red Sawyer has been on the show before, and he is quite the interesting individual, if you do say. Everything's a conspiracy. So
quite interesting one to tag with, but he's still good in the ring. But he's quite the interesting one. I know I've been on a couple shows with them, TOS, but I don't know if he's done PAPW before. I feel like I've seen him around other promotions, so I'm just blanking on which ones. But yeah, it was also.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Tag with Brad because I know we trained together, so was there. I mean, he's good in ring, on mic, everyone loves to hate him, so he got really
Right.
the crowd over with that.
Yeah, yeah. Speaking, I'm gonna go off on Red Sawyer a little bit. So, I love his character because it reminds me of like Bruiser Brody or like an old school like Wild Man. And I think because of this kind of character, there's not a lot of characters like that in the modern age of professional wrestling. I think it could go very far. I've been like telling Coliseum like we've got to bring him in because I think it could go, and I don't know if there's a disconnect or what, but I really want to. I enjoy calling his matches. I've gotten the opportunity to call a couple of them, and I just want to do. I want to work with him more because I think he's just an amazing talent.
And I think he's getting out there. Like I see him on a lot of like posters now and for like promotion. Like good for him. Like he's really getting out there, and I think the gimmick is really good. Because it draws everyone in, and that's like the best kind of gimmicks. Like if you get the crowd involved, I mean, they'll either love or hate you, so that's always good.
And he's the only guy I've seen hit somebody else with a stroller.
Or a show. I mean, you had like a duck for a long.
You're currently part of another organization that's because that's just started out. Kurt Jesuits, aka Kurt Adonis, has recently started his Wrestling with Character, which is supposed to be a very family friendly event, and I think it's got amazing possibilities. But you got a chance to work there. According to my notes, this past May, have you worked there since?
I haven't made it to the last show they had because I had hockey obligations, so I had to play hockey. But I was on their I don't think it was their first, it was like their second show, something like that. Okay. It was like their show, and it was down in where
it's
was
in
it?
New Britain. New Britain, that's where they
and it was a blast. I mean, it's for the kids, which a great thing that Kurt is doing, I think, because you see a lot of like wrestling is like violence. I mean, parents are afraid to take their kids because like it's hitting, punching, but this is like a family friendly. It's like Disneyland, I would call it, because like you go there and it's like balloons and everything's like friendly and nice, and it's like they perform like shows, so like you're watching like a whole performance. It's like a theatrical performance, and I think that's great what he's doing. And I had the opportunity to be on it as the bully, so it was great twist of like events. I know going back to that kind of bad personality heel work, but as like a villain, which was good to do again. But it was just great, just watching the kids just interact with you and like booing you, and it's just a fun day. So hopefully I get to go back soon.
I have yet to make it out there. It seems that every time he books a show, I'm already booked elsewhere. So it's but I want, I have a young son that's 9 years old, or going to be 9 in a few weeks. And I really want to take him out to this because I think it's like he loves going to the PAPW shows with me, and he comes and travels to other shows with me. And it's gotten to the point where he's become, pretty much an important part. Like everybody knows my son, and everybody loves hanging around with him. And he can be a little bit overwhelming sometimes because once
he's 9.
I know. But he's
take him. He would. Like it's like everything's for the kids. Like it's just you're there, but like it's a blast.
Yeah. What's your name again? Otis. You got anything else right now? Sorry, I'm.
Call me whatever you want. Just keep the camera on me. No. I wanted to say you have a triple threat coming up. Mm-hmm. At PAPW Armada Brewery on the 13th of this month over on River Street, New Haven. And have you ever been in a triple threat before, or is this your first time?
No, I've been in one, I want to say at WFA, and we were in New Hampshire at the time, because when WFA was around, it was like 2 shows like a week, like back when I used to work with them.
I could tell you that in March 23rd, you were actually in another triple threat at PAPW, and that's the day that Daje Simone won the women's championship.
Oh,
so
she doesn't want to talk about that.
I know. Well, she wasn't. She's not the one that lost the belt. But
I was thinking of the other time I lost, but no, I've been in a couple then, like maybe 2. So it's not my first time. I've been in a couple, but they're fun to work. Basically anything goes. There's no hold burns. I mean, anything could happen. So I mean, on July 13th, I mean, it's gonna be a fight. I mean, Jada is a great young up and coming talent, and she puts on a good fight, and I know Dajay does. So this should be a fun match. I mean,
Yeah, I would think that triple threat
like,
would be
up in training. So I mean, she's got it coming for her.
it's a tough. I would think it's tough because you could lose and not even be a part of the pin on either end and still lose. So that's kind of concerning. So it could be a lot of catching this one before the pin is done, and or rolling somebody up and then trying to beat off somebody else trying to pull you off the pin. And so yeah, that's pretty crazy.
It does. It gets crazy, and anything could happen. I mean, look at Money in the Bank. Anything could happen.
Yeah. Speaking of which, let's get a little bit off topic. So, what do you think about John Cena announcing his retirement?
That, I mean, I grew up, that was like my era, John Cena. That was the guy. That was the face of the company. So, like, seeing that era kind of come to an end, and it is sad. I mean, if you love him or hate him, he was good in the ring. So, I mean, fans could boo him, fans could cheer him, but like to watch John Cena go, it's sad, and to see who could like fulfill that spot. Who's the next John Cena? I don't know if there ever will be, but like, who's gonna be the face of the company now? I mean,
right. I mean, it's funny because it's like he was never my favorite wrestler, but I'll tell you that much. To me, it's like it was gimmicks like that annoyed the hell out of me because I just wanted to watch actual wrestling. But when he got in the ring with CM Punk, that for the very first time for that title, I was like, holy shit, this dude actually could wrestle like really good. You know what I mean? Like I always thought it was all gimmick for like the longest time.
I didn't think he could wrestle for a long time.
They have like great chemistry together, and I love that Money in the Bank match. First Punk, and like I always thought like when he gets inducted into the Hall of Fame, who's gonna announce him like in? I always thought it would be like
yeah. Do you think that when he retires, like he will be inducted at that same year, like next year? I guess he said he's gonna retire.
Yeah, hopefully it's not the same because it gets annoying. Like when you get inducted and then you have to like wrestle the next day or something like that. Like it should wait maybe like a year or two afterwards. Final match, and then he gets inducted.
Yeah, he's contributed a lot to the company, and it was as much as I was not a fan of his, maybe because he was shoved down our throats so much, like during his era. When he was around less, that's when I kind of was like, he doesn't bother me as much, and I actually kind of cheered a little bit for him. Last night when he announced I'm not gonna lie, last night when he announced his retirement, did that whole speech, I did get a little emotional. Like, I was like, wow, I can't believe this is happening.
It's like Roman Reigns. Now everyone misses him.
Yeah, well, I think that it just going on lately is what's going on in WWE. I don't talk a lot, like watch a lot of WWE outside of like the pay-per-views, and I just watch a lot of clips. But otherwise, but I feel that Roman Reigns is about to come back as the biggest babyface in the company. Like when he does return. So yeah,
like there will be, but everyone's just waiting because I feel like it has to be a slam or something has to happen. But like I don't know, it has to be at like SummerSlam.
Yeah. That's what I'm guessing.
You can almost you can almost kind of see that forming because they split up the Usos, and then Jimmy ended up getting kicked out of the bloodline, and then it was just Paul and Solo and Roman, and then all of a sudden now Roman, I hear it's that he has bowed out because of health. I don't know how true that, because remember he had what was it?
Leukemia.
Yeah.
Leukemia. Thank you. Yeah. And I guess maybe he had another bout with that or whatever. But anyway, he had to leave. But then now this new modern bloodline, as they're calling it, I really think that the Usos are going to team back up with Roman and Paul, and they're going to come back, and there's going to be. But I'm trying to think who. Yeah, who would be the fifth, or who would be the other? Because they've got the enforcer now.
Mhm.
Jason or Jacob Fatu. So, they'd still have the numbers on their side with one extra. So I'm wondering if maybe now I saw some clips, not clips, posts on some other platforms that said they were thinking that Rikishi was going to come back as a new wise man. Now I don't know how much water that holds, but it'd be interesting to see if they come up with another character or bring somebody else in the family from
Well,
maybe Roman's side that can be the extra number. So it's
so
got to be a storyline to
so the
watch.
Gorillas of Destiny, the Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa, their brother Hikuleo also signed with WWE. He has yet to debut, so he could,
Oh,
so he could actually join. I mean, either side really. So we'll have to see
right.
how it goes, how it works out.
Or
So
it could be Survivor Series. I mean, if it happens
yeah,
at they lead
Oh,
up.
yeah, that would be cool.
yeah, yeah. Let's get back to Skylar's career, and so we could always, we always get off topic, but so I want to ask you. You had some interesting matches and some other talent that I want to ask you about working with. You've worked with Sammy Chaos on numerous occasions. So, what's your opinion about working with Sammy?
Oh, Sammy's great. Definitely. I know she's getting a lot of work out there now. It's just her size. Like it's a different environment working with. She's bigger than me, so
Right, right.
probably as well. So working with her was a challenge trying to figure out how to do certain moves with her and win and stuff like that. But I mean, we had a couple performances together. I think the chemistry is there. I think she we our first match was probably but then we gotten better together. So I think it grew over time. And I mean, I've seen her so many shows now, and I wish her the best out there. And I mean, she did win that title from me too. So
Uh, I didn't want to bring up another loss, but so that actually streamed live on YouTube, Paradise Alley. I think that was at the JCC, correct? In Woodbridge, was that correct?
uh,
Maybe.
just a rematch.
Okay. Oh, that was the
Uh,
rematch. Okay.
yeah, we worked together at the JCC. Um, was it? It was for the rarefied air.
Rarefied air,
It,
maybe.
yes, maybe.
Oh, okay.
Maybe not,
Maybe.
but worked many times. But yeah,
Actually, no. Okay, you're right. That was the rematch. That was what you call it, Mania in Paradise, and Thriller in Paradise was where she won the belt, and that was in East Haven.
yes.
So, okay, that was October 28th. I got all the dates in front of me. Sorry, so I'm a
It's
nerd like that.
Sammy.
uh,
Sammy's a good talent.
yeah,
Just work with her. It's like Hogan and Shawn Michaels. It's like the big Goliath and then the small underdog. So that's kind
right,
of how
right.
it kind of fit in working with Sammy.
So I know I brought it up earlier, but Daje Simone is the current PAPW Women's Champion. She won that in a three-way. Do you plan on coming back for that title against Daje? And what's your opinion on Daje? I think that she's someone that's greatly improved over the last year or so. I think she's become one of the best talents in our area.
Yeah, I mean, I think I know she took a break from pro wrestling and then came back within the last couple years. And I mean, she started training at PAPW, and I mean, she definitely improved, I think, a lot. I haven't seen her past work, but I know every day she's getting better. I know she works hard, and I know I'm definitely coming back for that title because that's the story. That's the long time goal, finishing that story to get back that title. I lost it a year ago, and trying to become a two-time women's champion. That's the goal right now.
Okay, all right. And you've gotten the chance, like you wrestled Nikki Duke a few months back, and she's become quite the amazing talent that's been out there for quite some
I
time now.
on WoW now. I knew that
Yeah,
based out in Cali, maybe California.
yeah, yeah. That's Dave
And
McLean's WoW.
I wrestled Holly Hood, who also does WoW too. That match was great as well in New Jersey. So I wrestled couple talents, and Nikki was just fun to work. That was her very first match back from a life-threatening neck injury. So
Jeez.
so I give her props to that. I mean, she got back in that ring, no fear, no nothing, and still put on a show. And after that injury, yeah, it's pretty scary.
What do you think about companies like WoW? Would you take the opportunity to go out there and work for that? I mean, it's a gigantic
If I
company and run by, it's basically run by NBC. So
and I think AJ Lee works with them, or
she's
like
she's one of the producers, like one of the yeah.
so like to work with like all women from like different backgrounds, different talent. They're all big names. So I
Yeah.
would love if I had the opportunity to work with them.
Mhm.
Would be definitely fun. It's an all women's promotion. I only done I think one all women show. Well, maybe two of like PAPW was one like an all women show. It was like out in New Jersey, and that's when I wrestled
Okay.
Hollywood
Okay.
for Godness of War. That was like their name back then. I know they are affiliated with Titan in New Jersey.
Okay.
So with Holly Hood, Haley J, and I mean she's huge. She had that Netflix run.
Yeah,
But
on the wrestlers, the OVW show.
yep. So
Yeah.
it's
I had the opportunity to meet her in February, and she was not like she was on the TV show. She was a sweetheart. She was compared to, I think a lot of that stuff like was, it's a TV show. So, so she was a complete opposite. She's a very nice young lady.
it's just a reality show on Netflix.
Reality. So, yeah.
We had good chemistry in the ring, and I mean, it was a fun blast. So hopefully, maybe if she's back in Connecticut again, or New Jersey, or New York, so like we could maybe work together again because it was a blast.
Yeah. Yeah. Otis, do you have anything else? We got about roughly 10 minutes left before we gotta wrap it up. So, Otis, do you got anything left?
At the shows, do you by any chance are you working on any merch, or do you have any merch, or
I have merch. It's online right now. I just have to on ProWrestlingTees.com. I just have to order a more like a bulk t-shirts, more of that. So once I get that order in, maybe within like a couple weeks, like I have to order it, and then I'll have more shirts and promo
Yeah.
pics.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever seen you selling stuff before.
Yeah.
I could be wrong, but yeah.
Yeah, I just gotta get the merch. I have been slacking on that. Like it's online, so like I know people bought it online. So hopefully I know they got it. It's been shipped, so hopefully they're rocking it on July 13th. But I just gotta get more.
yeah, if
Yeah.
you can get some to bring to shows, I would think, when people actually can get hands on, they're like, oh, this is, because when you see it online, it's just not the same as touching it and wow, like an 8x10, let's say, or something even,
Yeah. I prefer to purchase directly from the person, and hand them my cash because
Yeah.
I know that, it's helping them at the gigs and stuff like that. Maybe the promoter's not paying them enough or what have you. I'm not talking about any particular promoters, but that's I know it's rough out there working shows sometimes, and you get money directly in your pocket.
Right. Nobody else is getting a cut from it or anything like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
takes a cut.
Secondhand Heroes and Home for Wayward Villains is a comic book shop and gaming store that also features Magic the Gathering and D&D. Located at 18184 Leesville Road in Evington, Virginia, Secondhand Heroes is your one-stop shop for you to get your nerd on. Open 7 days a week at 11 a.m. They don't close until the dice stop rolling. They buy, sell, trade, barter, and haggle, specializing in collectible toys, both vintage and modern, comics, Magic the Gathering, video games, console, and arcade cabinets to play, all set to free play. Host your game night with us. Monday night D&D video game competitions, and so much more. Something for the collector and gamer in us all. Call 434-317-0121 or shoot us an email with any questions to secondhandheroesva@gmail.com. Note, secondhandheroesva@gmail.com. That's 2ND, handheroesva@gmail.com. Come game with us.
Yeah, what else do you have coming up? Do you have anything big coming up besides the 13th?
July 13th is coming up, but ConnectiCon is right around the corner on July 19th, that whole weekend.
Yep.
So the 21st, that's Sunday.
Was that's what, 6 shows in 3 days or something
3 days.
like that?
In 3 days,
Yeah.
and then those shows. There's meet and greets, trivia. So it's gonna be a whole fun weekend event. It's up at the convention center in Hartford, which is fun. It reminds me a lot of like Kurt Adonis's show. Like you dress up as this character that's not your normal wrestling persona. So like as a comic book kind of convention, I'm Black Canary, so that should be a fun weekend. I mean, there's storylines in between that. I mean, it's like a fun blast. You don't have to go out there and wrestle. You just wrestle like your comic book or anime character. And
You've
we got
done it before, right, for cosplay?
a couple new characters. What was that?
You've done it before for cosplay wrestling?
Yes, I done it last year, and I want to say the year before, 22,
Okay.
3. So this will be
Was it
24.
was it last year? Was it last year a fan tried jumping in the ring, or the year before?
Yeah,
In
it's
in,
on YouTube.
yeah, and Q leveled him, I guess. That was quite enjoyable.
There.
Yeah.
It was like it was just a couple idiots just wanted to see what it's like, pranked, and they didn't even have tickets for the con, but they got what was coming because Q's like, you don't want to mess with Q, so Q left with him.
No, I would stay out of his way at any
So I
at any time.
thought was gonna happen if you don't, because I know there was I'm blanking on his name, but the other Italian wrestler,
Was it Dominic De Niro, I think?
Dominic.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't want to mess either. So I mean, you got Q and Dominic. Good luck whoever now that fight.
No. The funny part is, like, I worked a show with Dominic like a couple months back, and I gotta say, he's like the nicest dude, right?
Yeah.
But I don't think he's one of those dudes you want to cross in the wrong way. Same thing with
No.
Q. He's very nice, but you definitely know you don't want to cross him and say the wrong thing.
We're family in that locker room. Like everyone's a family.
Absolutely.
Step in the ring.
Absolutely.
You don't know what you're doing. That's why we say, like, please don't go in the ring. Don't touch the ring. Like, just keep your distance, because like we don't know what's gonna happen. You slide in that ring. I mean, you most likely are gonna get beat by one of those wrestlers.
That tends to happen at indie shows on occasions where there's a bunch of jerk offs that show up and they think, oh, this stuff's fake, I'm going to make fun of it. And then watch this. I've been to shows before where people would like jump in the ring and just do something stupid. And the next thing you know, they just get the shit kicked out of them.
Yep. So I don't know what these idiots are thinking, but
Yeah. Well, I mean, I could tell you actually in the New Haven Coliseum, back in the day. Now, this is actually quite a famous one because this person actually mentioned it recently. Was Sergeant Slaughter was wrestling the Ultimate Warrior in a steel cage. The Nasty Boys interfered. A fan jumped the cage, and next thing you know, the Nasty Boys are just beating on the freaking dude. It made the front page of the New Haven Register the next morning. So, and I was there for that. And then when I was talking to Sergeant Slaughter like not so long ago, I mentioned where I was from in New Haven, Connecticut, and that's the story he brought up. So
yeah,
he remembers that.
High security this week, in a couple weekends.
Yeah,
That doesn't happen again, and hopefully they're banned from what.
You got to be careful. I mean, you never know. A guy jumps in the ring or a woman jumps in the ring, and a fan they might want to, juke a heel or something, because they just don't like their character and they want to stab them, or you got to be careful.
Rollins or something like that. I don't know. A fan was being tricked online and then thought it was actually Seth or something like that.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, I remember what you're saying. Yeah. Otis, do you have any closing comments before we wrap it up? Otis, you live? Okay.
No, I'm just hoping that the weather holds out for the 13th. That's all.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the weather's been kind of crazy this past couple of weeks. We had to cancel our last show because I had no power last week. So we had to cancel that show. And it was
So it was sunny there, and it's sunny when I came home.
Wow. Lucky. Why don't you point everybody to where they can find you, your social media, and all that stuff?
Yeah, so I am on Instagram, _Skylar50_. And I'm also on Facebook. Just Skylar if you type it in, or Juliana for any bookings on Facebook as well.
All right. I want to thank you very much for coming on, and we're gonna have to do this again. This has been a blast. Seriously, I don't know why I haven't had you on. I've known you for quite a few years now. So
no, this has been fun.
You're welcome,
absolutely.
Rick.
Thank you very much, and definitely have you on again soon. And hopefully, I'm going to make it out to the 13th. I got kids, so yeah, we'll see. Well, thank you very much. And I want everybody to go check out Skylar on social media. Check out YouTube. Actually, I got to tell you one thing before we go. There's a video, and I don't want to of you. That's the most viewed video on our YouTube channel is you getting squashed by Karen Bam Bam. Do you remember that?
I do remember that. I almost died, but but yeah, I got squashed. I guess I would say that's my first ever match.
I think it is. I think that is that counts. Yeah.
I came a long way, but I got squashed by Bam Bam.
Yeah, it's that's up on our YouTube. It's the most viewed video on this channel, and it's kind of funny, to be honest with you, because it's like people just go crazy, and I'd ignore the comments from the people that actually commented on it because it's just ridiculous. But thank you for that. I'm going to thank you and Karen for that, for making that possible.
I don't know where it's on YouTube, but probably my most viewed is with me and Delmy wrestling one of our matches. I don't know, but that's probably now.
Yeah, I think that was a great series that I've seen so far. And if anything anything else comes up, I want to try to make sure that I'm there for it as well.
Hopefully.
All right. Well, thank you again for coming on, and we'll have to have you back sometime.
Absolutely, it was a lot of fun, and it was really cool to learn more about you.